Welcome everyone, it's Arthur Bablis and this is Take Two. Take Two for our MBX interview series here with a beautiful soul I'm going to introduce. It is Monday the 13th of February, the day before Valentine's Day, and I've got a fantastic, beautiful soul, a beautiful one we're going to have a wonderful chat with today, and I'm excited that you're here again. And as you know, you all know me, we've been here in this field of complementary medicine, personal growth, and human performance for the last 27 years. That's 3 decades, and guys, I can tell you the 3 decades, my personal journey in the 3 decades have just been amazing. It's been a roller coaster. And I've said in the podcast before, like life is a roller coaster, right? The ups and downs, and it's exhilarating, and then you get off and you vow you never get on it again, and you say, let's do it again. And I think it's a great metaphor because this next speaker I'm going to introduce, this is a person that takes life, well, when I say takes life, they get the best out of life because you know what? They want to cherish every experience that life gives them, and say they show up. They show up as their authentic self. They show up as a person that wants to make another person feel better about themselves and live a better quality life. I met this beautiful soul a number of years ago. We got an interesting discussion we'll probably have that we can talk about when we met. But guys, this next person, she is a somatic worker. She does breath work, she does body work, she does meditation, she does, look, there's a lot of things she does. She runs her own classes, but I'm going to introduce her, I'm going to bring her down. I want everyone to give a big round of applause. I need to pronounce the name right. Everyone, let's give a round of applause for Daniela Mallozzi. Daniela, come on down. Let's get a round of applause here. Crowd going wild. All right, thank you, Daniela. I was waiting patiently in the green room while I had this tech challenge. It's like, so Daniela, thank you so much for being here today, and I was looking forward to having this conversation with you because, geez, you know, every time we get a chance to bump into you, and it's such a blessing I do, because we're in God's country, right? We're in the Sutherland Shire, we're in Cronulla, and everyone knows I'm going to put my backdrop on, right? But see, we're right here, and every morning, every now and then, you're over there. You're like on this point over there, you're there with your friends, or you go for a walk, you got your chalk, and you're writing all these wonderful messages on the ground, and people just walk past and just read these things and start to feel better. And, you know, each time I see you and I give you that hug, and it's like, how's your day been? You know, we don't worry about the clouds which are behind us because we know the sun is still there, right? The sun's always there. It's just hiding behind the clouds. And I love the work that you do because that's what you do for people. You help get rid of the clouds for them so they can connect to that sun and connect to that light. So Daniela, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Arthur. Perfect pronunciation of the name, by the way.
Daniela Mallozzi, we've got to get that right. So, you know, we talked earlier in terms of, you know, I like what you said, like to a person's name, the way you pronounce it, the vibration, energy says a lot about the person. So you got to get that name right. It's, geez, you just straight away you held me accountable. It's pretty good. I'm already growing in this call. All right. So look,
that's
Daniela,
you know, I wanted to just say something.
So look, oh, sure. Go ahead.
I wanted to say that's funny that you said that I held you accountable, because I think that you are one of the most consistent people that represents holding people accountable, because you are the most consistent person I've known since being in Australia that's still in the field, still teaching and still doing the work. So I just wanted to honour you for that. I've been here 8 years and you were one of the first people within the first few years that I met. So yeah, well done. You are holding yourself accountable and everyone else.
Well, thank you for that. You know, I tell you, from you, that means a lot to me, Daniela. It really does. And I thank you for that. Because, yeah, we did meet 8 years ago. I remember you walked up those stairs and I had that office there in Gomea, and you were inquiring about kinesiology and bodywork and all these wonderful things. And then one thing led to another, and we've gone on different paths, but yet we still stay connected. We still meet, you know, and there's so many people that, you know, we know collectively together, and we've crossed paths, and just people talk so much about the work that you do. And of course we had your great friend and also your partner, and then some of the sounding and everything else that last week we had Blazenka here. And it was only fitting to have you as well, Daniela, because I wanted everyone to share or connect to your energy, your spirit, your vibration, and the work that you do. So tell us the Daniela Mallozzi story, because as you said, you've only been in Australia for 8 years. So how did you get here? Why did you get here? And tell us the Daniela Mallozzi in terms of how did you get to doing what it is that you're doing now?
Well, let's keep it short and sweet because it's a big story, and I will finish the book one day and I will finish it out. But basically 23 countries I've had the pleasure of experiencing, and I was able to find links and patterns between cultures, which gave me a lot of insight. I've always been fascinated by human behavior. 6 major traumas from the age of 11 to 22, which I am deeply grateful for. And I would not change one element or aspect of as a result of the growth that I've had from them. So throw them in the mix with a bit of obsession around neuroscience and how to, the malleability of the brain, neuroplasticity, and just trying to understand why people suffer. Why are people suffering? Like, is it necessary, or is there some suffering that we can actually avoid? And one thing I'm really passionate about is helping people to avoid the unnecessary merry-go-round of specialists and therapists and medications and operations, and then they discover it's something else, so then they go down that. I feel like there's a place for that, and there's also a place for giving people tools so that they can learn the language of their mind and their body to avoid some of the unnecessary parts of that. So I'm really passionate about that. So that's what I like to talk about more than exactly what I do.
Look, I love that you. Look, I love what you said. Then let's talk about that. And there's a couple of things with what you just said too. That you mentioned you had me all these nice words earlier about me. And let me repay the favour here because I think it's warranted. You mentioned 23 countries and 6 major traumas, all of which you are so grateful for, and you wouldn't have it any other way. And for me, that shows the measure of the person, how much the work that you've done, and how much healing you've allowed yourself to experience, to take the lesson, the spiritual lesson, the greater chunk from those experiences to understand what their purpose was for you on this planet, how they served you, and not keep on pointing the finger because of that's why your life sucks today. So many people do that, and they get caught up in their pain, and their body is a reflection of that. And that's the work that you do, right? People hold these unprocessed life experiences, these traumas in their body, and they experience this pain. And as you said, they go around in the modern medical system, which has a place, right? But they just go around in circles and circles and circles because they're not getting to the core. They're not allowing themselves to heal. And this is why you do all this wonderful work to allow people to heal. So, man, I'm going to just leave it over to you because we're going to be here. I know we started a little bit late because of the tech problem, but let's half an hour chat. Let's talk about some of the things that people can become aware of in the healing journey, how they can transform their pain into power, and really how they manifest the pain by holding on to the stuff that they don't need to hold on to.
Excellent. Okay, so I want to give as much value as I can in a short space of time. So let's talk about.
And of course, at the end, we got to let people know where to reach you, right? Because there's people watching. If you're watching live, let us know where you watch it from. #live. I'll relay the messages back to Daniela Mallozzi. And Mallozzi, and we'll get back to you, and then we'll let everyone know how you can get hold of Daniela and reach out to her, maybe get hold of, see her one-on-one, or get hold of some of the programs she runs, because she also does some family constellation work. So that's something we can talk about too, because this pain gets caught up in a family blueprint, a pattern, and you need to become aware of that to heal too. So Blazenka's online. Hey, Blazenka. I know you're enjoying this one. So over to you, Daniela.
Okay, so the body is a marvelous machine, but it can malfunction. And it's just like a red light coming up on a car. You never want to turn that red light off. When the red light comes on, it's a warning signal. So I like to believe that your body gives you a certain amount of warnings for you to listen to before you get a dis-ease or before you get a disorder that's quite severe. So for example, in my little humble 10-year experience now working with the beautiful body, I love muscles, I love my job, I love getting into the muscles and finding the root cause of the problem so that the repetitive condition doesn't, continue. So here we go. If you have any problems in my 10-year experience, anyone that comes in with shoulder problems, neck, head, ear, eyes, anything around this area is related to frustration and anger. So before you go and hit the therapist and hit the painkillers or get the magnesium, but hit the magnesium, before you do any of that, your body's giving you a chance to have a look. Is there some unresolved emotion? Are you really angry at that neighbor for doing this or not doing that? Did you get angry at the person that cut you up in the road? Which, by the way, they might have done because they just got told that their mother's in hospital and is about to die within the next hour. So I always like to think that when someone pisses me off on the road, I say, God bless them. I hope they're okay. And that quickly puts me into a state of compassion so that I don't get my Italian rage and beep and give them a piece of my mind. So is your body giving you a moment? And if you ignore that frustration and anger and you don't forgive yourself or maybe even reach out and apologize, that headache might turn into a chronic migraine. It might even turn into neuralgia if you ignore it long enough, because that could build and put pressure on the nerves around your head. So your warning sign might just be a tight neck. It might be an earache. So this is frustration and anger. Anything from your heart, chest, this area here, is related to unresolved sadness. So these beautiful souls that come in and they have asthma or respiratory, they get real anxiety, or they can't breathe, or they have heart attacks or heart palpitations, irregular heartbeats. These are people that, like us, didn't get a manual with how to deal with grief. So because they didn't deal with it, their body's holding on to it. So this could be about really accepting somebody's death, or going deeper into the wound of what's causing sadness and grief within you. This is a big one. And then lastly, simply, there's a lot going on down there, but let's keep it simple. Anything from the stomach down is related to fear. So if you've got libido problems, if you've got low sex drive, if you've got low energy, if you've got diarrhea, constipation, cramps, if you've got a hernia, if you've got sciatica, if you've got, and I'm going into food because within 10 years, I cannot ignore the gut. The gut is the second brain. And my muscle corrective therapy works every time. The only times that I ever have trouble with pushing it along to my 4 to 6 treatment protocol is when somebody's diet is so restrictive to their health that I just cannot move those muscles. It's actually called neuromuscular lock. And I say to them, do you consume a lot of dairy and gluten? Are you excessively consuming alcohol at the moment? No judgment, but I just want you to know what it's physically doing to your body. So that's another discussion. But simply, frustration and anger, sadness and grief, fear. So that's a tip to avoid having to go down the deep, therapy route. But obviously it's there and it's very beneficial. And that's my job.
I love what you said there. That's awesome in terms of frustration, anger, from the neck up, and then the sadness here, and then down the bottom here. And when you talk about food, I love how you're linking it all together in the most holistic, integrated way, because I think that's the way that today more of us, if we move down that way, we're going to allow ourselves to heal more effectively. And I suppose with food, and you would know, right, because I want to add this from the neck up, if you've got a neck up problem, then look for food that you need to pick off a tree, right? If you've got a torso problem, look for food which is on the ground. If you've got below the belt problem, look for food which is under the ground. And that's how, again, nature's blueprint, that food has a sign of nature. Food can also heal the body, especially when you understand the emotions and the issues that you're working with, and you put them together. That's I love it. That's brilliant.
I love that you said the word wholesome, because in Latin, the word for healthy means wholesome, and the word for doctor means teacher. So really, for me, health is about educating, teaching, learning, not just taking a pill or having a therapy session and then the pain goes away. I want to know, why did the pain come in the first place? Well, what can I do to prevent that pain from coming back? Those questions actually get you to have a deeper relationship with your body. Meditation in Latin means to become familiar with. So it's not about, I've got to stop thinking, I've got to sit still. No, it's hard every time, but it gets more and more beautiful because your connection to yourself becomes more and more strong. So when you sit there and you try to shut your mind up and keep your body still, you drop into this lovely, lovely place that becomes familiar. And the more you do it, the more familiar you come. So the more familiar we get with our bodies, I believe, the faster we can get to responding to health problems. When you cut your finger, you don't say, heal, quick, heal. And you don't need to. It does it. So why does our body not heal? I believe because we get stuck. And I think we're getting stuck because we're missing the warning signs.
Look, I love what you said there, because the body heals on it. The body has a natural healing blueprint to heal itself. When we cut ourselves, the body would tend to, clot the blood and heal. So we have a healing blueprint, but what we're doing, as you said, we are blocking the healing blueprint. Unconsciously, we're blocking it with our thoughts, with maybe the unprocessed life experiences, and with the diet and everything else. And so your job is to actually help people to become aware of that, so they can connect to source and allow themselves to heal and move forward with grace and with ease, and experiencing life for what it has to offer them.
Absolutely. And another
So
tip.
tell me more. Go on, because I really want to know about muscle corrective therapy, right?
Yes.
I'm a neuromuscular lock. I really love what you said there, because a lot of people tend to, when they have something in the body, they look at it from a physiological perspective and a symptom perspective. Let me go see a massage therapist or someone, a physio, whatever, and they all can work on or a car, and they all can work on an emotional and on another level. But some traditionally just work more at the neuromuscular level, and that's great. But if you're not addressing it at the cause, at another vibrational level in terms of what that pain means, what's the emotion, what's the thought, what's blocked for you, then you're not allowing your body to heal in the holistic perspective, right? So how is neuromuscular corrective therapy different to all that work?
So there is absolutely a place for everything. Physios, chiros, osteos, every single therapist is gold. And I believe, like the analogy of the pot of mud, you go to the first therapist, they pour a tiny drop of water in, the mud loosens a little bit. Next therapist, water, loosens a bit more. And then after all of this, they might come to me or you, and we just go boop, at the top, and everything moves. And they go, all the other therapies didn't work. Arthur's was the best. No, every person helped you get to that point. So I'm really big on respecting that. I don't like it when clients come to me and they say, oh, I had a bad experience with that person. I always want to define what that means, because everyone's doing their best. Nobody's trying to hurt anyone. So I believe that.
That's just a measure of, I want to say that's just a measure of you being a therapist too. That is a level of evolution that most therapists don't have. Because, that's, I just want to acknowledge that, because that makes you special in terms of the work that you do.
I feel like I want to find the missing piece for people. So muscle corrective therapy works on the entire muscular system. We have 640 muscles, but we also work on fascia, soft tissue, deep tissue, connective tissue, tendons, ligaments, bones, cartilage, nerves. So what muscle corrective therapy does is it's a specialized procedure that finds and locates the root cause, which is usually the hips or the spine. They are the strongest structures. And if when muscles get tight, which happens from overuse, trauma, or again, poor diet, muscles twist and shorten, just like knotted hair. So when that happens, imagine if you've got a string holding two structures together. What happens when those two structures start to get pulled because the muscles are getting shorter, the rope's getting shorter and shorter, it pulls the structures. So that's when people get a misaligned hip. That's when they get their shoulders being pulled down, so they end up getting a shoulder problem. But it's not the shoulder that's the problem. It might be the hips are unbalanced and they're pulling everything down, because there's a concept called tensegrity, which connects everything like a beautiful structural web. So one point cannot move without it affecting every other point. So muscle corrective therapy really looks at making sure that the 206 bones in the body have complete muscular flow by releasing the restricted muscles from a shortened state to a lengthened state. And it feels like a really intense, delicious massage. That's the general thing I get told.
Look, I love that you mentioned, the spine and the hips is generally where most of the challenges are held. Because of course, as you would know, the hip flexors, the muscles that sort of support the hip and keep
hips
you
are the
upright.
most central point of the body.
Yeah.
Wherever the hips go, the rest of the body will follow.
But those muscles in Chinese medicine relate to the water element, right? That's fear and anxiety. And so when people are getting caught up today in this fear that's been perpetuated by whatever the reasons, and getting anxious about the possibilities of the future, that's where it's getting locked in the body and causing so many other problems.
Absolutely. Isn't that interesting that you said that the hips relate to water, and we said that most of the people that come in with things from the stomach down, it tends to be about fear. The body loves us so much. It's constantly trying to bring us back to balance. So imagine like you've got a headache and you're like, oh, for God's sake, I've got another headache. And your body's like, I'm trying to tell you to drink more water and stop drinking wine. Or like, it's trying to just bring you back to balance. I like to look at my body like a little child, and my ego is like a little teenager. I have to keep my teenager in line, and I have to give my child some boundaries. Otherwise, it's crazy.
Look, the way that you said that, because, a lot of people, they do inner child work, right? But I believe not only does the inner child, you've got inner teenager work you've got to do, and the inner young adult you need to do. And depending what stage you're in your life, you've got all these things that you need to go back and look at and say,
Arthur,
what can
I love
take from
that.
those
You're
experiences?
going to love this. You're going to love this. Someone once said to me that there was an inner family inside of myself.
Wow.
And I said, what does that mean? And I really deliberately think about this. We have an inner mum, we have an inner dad, we have an inner child, and after the age of 18, we develop an inner adult. This is where it gets interesting. The adult is just a shell and will be developed based on your relationship with your inner mum, dad, and child. So let's say you've had a fractious relationship with your dad, you might have a damaged inner dad. So your adult is going to have maybe negative reactions to men, or your adult will want to create maybe men that are emotionally unavailable because your dad was. So you tend to repeat these patterns, which is where family constellations comes in, where we do this beautiful work of just reordering the language of love by honoring our parents, not condemning, condoning, criticizing. We just honor them and give them thanks for giving us life. And in doing so, it's a lot more complex than that, but the simplicity of it, by honoring our parents energetically, they don't have to be there and you don't have to phone them or anything like that. This is an energy work. But by honoring our masculine and our feminine, we honor the masculine and feminine within ourselves. And people find after family constellations, they have better relationships, they can hold down relationships, they just feel freer, they're more confident to start their business. So there's a big thing to say about that, like the energy connection to our family, which obviously affects all of us. We've all got, no one's got a perfect family, but it's not about a perfect family. It's about a perfect relation, a perfect, I don't like the word perfect. I think striving for perfection is good, but you'll never reach it. So having a respectful and loving relationship. And that doesn't mean that you have to be even in contact with them. You just honor them by, and you know if you're honoring something or someone, because when you think of it, it doesn't give you a trigger, it doesn't give you a reaction. You don't feel a fire. You should be able to think about that person with compassion and love. And that is the work. And you know what? The work isn't going on a course. It's not going on a 10-day Vipassana. I've done all of that. And I thought, oh yeah, I've done all these things. I've ticked these boxes, seen wonders of the world. The work is every single day. And that's probably the biggest tip that I'll close on if I have to, is waking up in the morning is the start of the work. Are you going to snooze? Are you going to do that meditation? Are you going to talk nicely to yourself today? Or are you going to still repeat the same thoughts that you had yesterday, which you'll now repeat tomorrow? And then the work is, do you beep at someone on the road? Never beep at someone on the road. Never, never yell at a child. Those two things jolt somebody's state for the entire day. And anger affects the immune system for 2 days. So this is the work. It's not the meditation. It's the in-between bits of all of that stuff. So do the work.
Yeah, you know, you're hitting that point. This is just, I love what you're saying, because whatever it is that we do, and there's wonderful modalities, there's wonderful tools, there's wonderful processes that anyone can connect with and work with. And each one of these tools is just another frequency of vibration. And like everyone, we just connect to the frequency that we need at that moment. Now we can learn the tools, but learning, knowledge is not power. It's the application of the knowledge that really allows you to express your true power and be yourself. So how do you apply? I love how you said, how do you apply the stuff that you've learned? Are you intentional and purposeful in the morning with your conversations to yourself, when you look in the mirror, with your conversations to your loved ones, with the conversations with the people on the road or the people that you meet? And I love how you stop and think, if someone is having a bad day and they're doing something that might interrupt you, well, maybe that's your test. It's the obstacle that's coming your way to see how far you've evolved to say, you know what, hey, hold on. Wonder what's going on for this person. Let me show them some compassion, because they could be struggling. We don't know what's going on in their life for them to be running at 100 miles an hour. Maybe give them the space that they need. But if you've got that trigger, it's still your stuff, right? Oh man, just thank you for that, because I'm just taking some things away.
There's an interesting experiment that Harvard did. Harvard got a group of random people and tested them over a period of time. And they asked them just to think of a thought about anger, just one thought. They didn't ask them to get angry. They just said, think about something that would make you angry. And they put EEG graph things on the head, and they tested everything, and, you know, proper experiment. And they tested, the way they would test it is the immunoglobulins, which are like the little army dudes, little antibodies for the immune system. They just measured them before the experiment and after. And these people, after one thought of anger, their immunoglobulins dropped for 48 hours. So anger literally drops. So this is what I say to myself every morning. Good morning. Today is your day, and no one is going to make you angry today. If they do, then you've got more work to do. And I have these little like conversations with myself, because I realize that I actually have a job and duty to keep my body healthy. So if I let you get me angry, then I have let my body down, and I can't blame you for that. You've just shown me that I'm weak or that I'm reactive. And then Joe Dispenza did a similar study on people that had a thought of gratitude, the easiest, most beautiful things that you can think about. These people, their immunoglobulins went up. So this is the cheapest pill that we've ever got. But how can somebody feel grateful if they literally do not enjoy being in the body that they're in? So that's why I say it all starts with self-love. You have to at least start to like yourself, start talking to yourself a bit nicer, start looking at the good things that you can appreciate instead of the things that you find challenging or upsetting to you. Build a relationship with yourself that is so beautiful that you don't need to have much else. And that obviously we're humans, we need connection and contact, but self-love is probably been my savior over the past 40 years. Look, this year.
Wow. Oh, 40 years. Hey! Yeah, that's awesome. Look, I love what you said, because that is the secret, right? And self-love from not disregarding other people, because I see a lot of people in today's world, they hop on the self-love horse and say, it's all about me, it's not about you. And it's like with self-righteous self-love. Oh, self-love doesn't mean that you dishonor other people. Self-love is, yes, honoring yourself, but not at the expense of other people or expense of the other person. And I think the quickest way, and you would know this, Joe Dispenza, everyone else says this, right? You know, in this field of epigenetics, it's the environment that that has the greatest effect on your expression of your genes and really your spirit inside. And so the first act of self-love, and I'm giving my story, right? Like for me, when, you know, I went through a challenging time 4 years ago, my parents passed away, and I challenged my relationship, and then I thought it fell apart. I thought, fuck, what did I do? And you know, like me, I'm the communication guy, right? And this ain't supposed to happen to me, all right? All the things that came up for me, and it's like looking back and now say, hey, you know, that was the experience I needed to have in order for me to evolve and being on I am, and things didn't fall apart. Things just came to an end. I need to appreciate the experience that we had in order for us to move on to the next level of our life. And what I needed to do at that time, I needed to change my environment. And like everyone, if you need to, the first thing to change is your environment. And I moved to this place here. And I have to tell you, this place for me was my savior. And you know it, Daniela, because you're here, you know, nearly every day. You play volleyball on this beach over here. You're there every morning on this little point over there. We walk up those stairs and go for a walk. And I've been here for just on 2.5 years, and you know, there's not 2 days I don't go for a walk. Nearly every day I'm out there. My feet are in the water, and it's this that got me to be able to appreciate what has happened in my life, and what can I make it mean to make my life different by honoring myself and loving myself. And I want to talk about that because I see you on that path every now and then, and you've got this amazing smile, all right? Everyone you see, you just give them an amazing hug. And you're also known as the chalkboard warrior, right? Because you carry your chalk and you put all these wonderful messages on the footpath. So
I'm not sure about legal.
Well, but you know, because they call the Esplanade the universe, right? This is the thing in Cronulla, right? You're walking on the universe.
A police officer saw me doing it once, and he just smiled and gave me a thumbs up, just so you
know. I love it. So you put all these messages. So tell me some of these messages. What are the messages? And have you sat back and seen the impact, just to watch as people come past, what these messages on the ground do to them? Because I think that'll be awesome as well too.
Okay, so in this point of my life, I am practicing humility, and that's a hard one for me, because there's a little girl inside of me that would love to just go and sit in the cafe and just watch everyone that walks past and sees the love heart, which says, I am beautiful, because you have to read it. And if you read it, you're telling your body, I'm beautiful. So you have to feel it. Yep. So I do things like that. And then I say things like smile, pass it on. So I would love to watch those reactions, but yeah, there's something kind of divine and delicious and humbling about just putting it there and leaving it. But that's been a hard one. I've been doing things like this all my life. And I love to tell people about it because it's so fun. But I think it humbles me to just like a little fairy, leaving little fairy dust smiles everywhere. You listen, I saw someone do that to me one day and I thought, wow, I was having a bit of a heavy day. And somebody took the time to write a message on the back of the toilet where I'm going to the bathroom right now. And it lit me up. And I thought, I'm going to pass that on. And it just became a habit. I didn't realize that by writing it, I would get the same feeling as I did reading it. And I thought, this is good. I'll just keep writing it. So yes.
Well, we'll keep on doing it because it's a wonderful thing each time we see that on that. And look, you know, there's so much work that you do. You do your meditations, your breath work, and you got your ice baths, and you do. Tell me all about that because these are some of the tools that maybe people can get exposed to.
So I am the Happiness Queen. That's my brand, and you can find me at www.thehappinessqueen.com. I offer a range of tools to help you with your body and your mind. And these include muscle corrective therapy, breath work, family constellations, coaching. I'm also a marriage celebrant and I do funerals and weddings. And I absolutely love that job. So if you ever need any information about that, it's thehappinesscelebrant.com.au. Everything's on the website, absolutely everything, phone numbers, contact. And if you want any just consultation, just to find out if I'm the right person for you, because I'm quite selective these days with who I work with. I'll tell you, my ideal client is somebody who's kind of either at the beginning of their journey or at the end. I want someone who's kind of just starting to try and work out where their body's at. I seem to get a lot of young people that are wanting to understand about the ego and self-love. And then I get these beautiful souls that are like, I've tried this, and I've just given up. And they're like gold. People that want to avoid hip replacements, knee reconstructions, shoulder reconstructions, people that have got sciatica, bulging discs, herniated discs. These can be fixable or at least supported with muscle corrective therapy. Absolutely. And I really love my job. Why would you not want to go to someone who loves your job? I've been in this country 8 years and I'm so happy to give my money to sell it to therapists and specialists who love their job. And they are few and far between, I have to say, in my humble experience. So to all the therapists and specialists out there that love their job and genuinely and generally do the work to make sure that they are in the prime position to help people, thank you. There are a lot of people that need help in this world. And I believe that is my main purpose as being a human being this time around, to serve people. And I would love to help you on your journey, even if, like I said, just a chat. And Arthur, I want to thank you for creating such a platform to allow people to share their joy. That shows a real humbled state and place that you're in. And I just really, really want to honor that. It's lovely to connect with you again. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Daniela. So we've put that on the chat. It's already there, thehappinessqueen.com. So anyone watching live, please go there. And Daniela, as you said, just get on the phone, have a chat with her. And geez, you'll be chatting for a while and you're going to leave feeling great about yourself, but you might just realize it's about time maybe you experience the muscle corrective therapy, or you just go and have a chat with her and all the work that she does. Or maybe enroll in her program, workshops. Have you got anything coming up very soon, Family Constellations? If people are... March
26th, Family Constellations at the beautiful studio Healing Inside Out, Blaženka Bradley, that awesome soul. That is a stunning studio. If anyone ever wants to work there or even just attend the workshops, it really is, it holds you like a little womb. So I do the workshops every single month there. The next one's March 26th. And what was I going to say?
And you do the sound healing with Blaženka as well, and you do that, is that
every month. We do a smaller one month and a bigger one the next month. Details are on my website and Blaženka's, that's Healing Inside Out. And I just wanted to say, it's not, a person who chooses not to read is no better than a person who cannot read. There is no excuse to be ignorant these days. We've got books to listen to, books to read. We've got free information on Instagram, TikTok, WhatsApp, Snap. It goes on, right? So you can't not do the work. So my tough love today is I love you and I know that you can be happier and healthier than you currently are. So what work can you do a little bit more of? And I will leave on that. I do like a little bit of tough love. I think sometimes we need that. And I say it from my heart, but I say the truth if I feel I need to.
Look, I love that work. I love the tough love. You know, it's great when we stretch the person into going into that territory where they need to make a decision to.
The Italian in me,
break
Arthur.
through.
It's the
Oh,
Italian.
geez, that's the Mediterranean, right?
The
The
nonna.
Mallozzi, right? So we're going to give you the
My
Mallozzi treatment. Look,
nonna, she
Daniela.
coming through me, huh?
Look, I want to thank you so much for being on here, and thank you for putting up with a little of the tech challenge I had early on. But look, as I said, I love connecting with you. I love seeing you on the path over here. I love the work that you're doing, also the connection with Blazenka, and it's just wonderful to know that, you know, 8 years ago when you walked up that stairs and you continue on the journey and you found your path and continue to forge that and grow and spread with all these different arteries to make a difference with the work that you do. And geez, you know, where are you going to be in the next 8 years? I mean, the future's so exciting. But I keep on saying, I've been in this for 27 years, and for a therapist like yourself that I know is in it not just for the financial gain. It's important. We're here to make a living, but we're not here just for the living. We're here because we want to make a difference. Today, so many people are jumping into this field to make a quick buck, and I think they've lost the reason why this industry connects. But for people like yourself that I know you do this because there's something more, there's a calling, there's a mission to make a difference, that ripple effect of positive change, of happy change, I think then right now is probably, I'm more excited about the possibilities that are available in this industry and for us than what it was 27 years ago when I started. So
if I was in it for the money, I wouldn't fix people or help people fix themselves within 4 to 6 sessions. That's it. That's it. Most people 2 to 5 years. When I've gone to some people, they've told me 2 to 5 years. I said, what do you mean 2 to 5 years? The body rejuvenates and regenerates within a year, within 28 days. Why can't it just, I don't understand. In 1 month, we have a new pathway to make habits and break habits. So my model is short and sweet. I want you to not need a therapist. Come to me, 4 to 6 sessions, and then just maintenance. And that might be with him or her or me. Or dream teams are really important. As we get older, we lose parents, we lose family, we lose people. It gets lonely. So don't get lonely. Love yourself. You'll never be lonely. And find a little dream team of supportive people that you can go to, because you deserve to feel happy, and let your heart stay open as you get older. It's really important.
Love it. So guys, if you want to put Daniela onto your dream team, I think you need to, onto the dream team, please connect with her, the Happiness Queen. I want to thank everyone for watching us live. Thank you for coming on from wherever you were, and just put your questions in there and we'll come back here and we'll answer the questions. And as I said, if you want to connect with Daniela, the website is there, thehappinessqueen.com. Thank you so much, Facebook Land, and we'll see you next time.